What's up, fight fans? It's your boy Tijon, and it's time for In the Mix. All right, man. So what's up, guys? And you ask, no, absolutely not. I did not dye my hair yet. I just got it redone. So I don't want any questions about why I got my hoodie on. I look a little crazy. That's all. But when I do my punishment, you will see the full-on green hair, but it's just not there yet. But you'll see it when it happens. Don't worry, it's coming. But let's get right into In the Mix, guys. So there's actually two events. For the first time, I think this year, we got two events. It feels like forever, man. But we got Bellator and we have UFC. So, buckle up, man. This one's going to be a little bit longer. Bellator 277 is first. McKee versus Pitbull 2. Actually, both of these events were like rematches almost. They were big rematches. So, Bellator 277 happened Friday night. Super good event. Definitely check it out. But let's go through and tell you guys how it went. All right, first fight. Linton Vassell versus Tim Johnson. Dude, Tim Johnson came out swinging, almost had Linton Vassell knocked out, was crushing him, but Linton survives, turns the tables on him in the first round, and gets the TKO win. Super awesome way to start off the card. Next, you had Aaron Pico versus Adley Edwards. So this one was a beatdown, gotta say. Pico was just killing him on the feet the entire fight. Audley was hanging in there, showing some heat, he was doing his best. He took the fight in 2 weeks' notice, but Pico's hands were just deadly, man, and there was nothing Audley can do about it. And Pico easily got, he finally was able to put it away. Got the easy win by TKO in the third round. But man, yeah, props to Audley for stepping up and taking the fight. But yeah, it was Pico's fight from the jump. Next, Vadim Nemkov versus Corey Anderson. Now, this one was a rough one. So as you can see, this one is a huge event for Bellator because it was the World Grand Prix final. So, these guys fought both sides of the bracket, finally came together, and this was going to be at least $1 million match, right? And so this was going to be a big scrap, but it all went sideways in the third round when there was a headbutt, accidental headbutt, ends the fight because Nemkov just starts leaking blood. If the doctor stops it, nobody wins. It's just a technical stoppage, and it changes into a no contest. So, they're going to have to run it back. And as you can see, both fighters were pissed. They're just going to have to run it back, though. I can understand their frustration. Nemkov and Anderson both wanted to finish that fight, but the doctor said that it was too, dangerous. So they're going to have to run it back. We don't know when it's going to happen, but we will get to see them finish this once and for all. They didn't even stay for interviews. They were so pissed. But, hey, man, it's coming. We're gonna have to see this settled because this was a really good fight. Sucks how it ended, though. But last fight, AJ McKee versus Patricio Pitbull. So AJ McKee won their last round out, and he won that $1 million that came with it, right? So he has all the swagger in the world, and you could see it in that entire fight. It went the distance, and to AJ's shock and surprise, look at that. Patricio Pitbull pulls out the win by decision, handing AJ McKee his very first loss. And you can just see how devastated AJ McKee was when that happened. He thought he won it, and yeah, clearly the judges saw something different. So he gets his first L. They're going to have to run it back now for the trilogy because this was a really good fight as well. Yeah, man, I don't have much else to say about it. I would give this event a solid 3 stars. Let's say 3. And I'm only going to say 3 because it was only, 6 fights? I need to see more than that, man. I'm hungry. UFC gives me 12 of them things, man. That's why I'm going to give it 3. And especially the controversy that surrounded that Grand Prix final, it's pretty rough. pretty effing rough. And it's unfortunate, but yeah, that's why it gets my 3-star rating. But let's move on to some UFC, man, because UFC was freaking awesome. It was awesome. There was a lot of controversy in that one too, though. And I mean a lot. Like, oh my God, the amount of illegal hits that we got to see last night was insane. But, you know, without further ado, let me take you through the ride. So, first fight up, Alatengheili versus Kevin Croom. Alatengheili, is it Haley or Hiley? I don't know. Alatengheili, I'm going to just stay with that. Gets the win in the very first round. Super quick knockout. It was technically a TKO, but it was, to me, it was a knockout because this man in the first minute was just pouring it on Kevin, and there was nothing that he could do the entire fight, or the entire minute that he was fighting. It was just a beat down. Alatengheili gets the W. Next up, there we go. Oh no. Ignore that, you didn't see it yet. Istela Nunes versus Sam Hughes. Now, this one was a pretty decent fight. It was all stand-up, but the problem was Istela Nunes kept eye-poking, man, and you can tell she wasn't really trying to do it. It was just like she kept reaching her hands out and, you know, trying to judge distance, and every time she did, she caught an eye. And Sam Hughes was just, you know, trying not to show frustration, but it was clearly getting to her. The ref deducted a point, and it really led to Sam Hughes getting that win. I think that it was a pretty even fight before that, and it could have went either way, but that eye poke was really the main difference between them. So congrats to Sam Hughes for the win, and Estelle, got to watch out how you judge your punches. Keep your fingers in. Ugh, that's rough to watch. I hate seeing the eye pokes. But next up, Jordan Levitt versus Trey Ogden. So this one, this one was a pretty nice fight to watch. You know, it went the distance, and Jordan Levitt got the win. And the thing that makes me laugh is really the celebration, which you gotta love. He drops down and does the splits, and then he gives the commentators a little dance. He starts twerking for him, shaking his ass. It was weird, dude. But you don't see fighters doing that. So, you know, props to my dude Jordan Levitt for, you know, bringing some comedy to the fight world. I thought that it was dope. But yeah, great win, man. Next up, though, Chris Barnett versus Martin Buday. Now, this is where things go wrong. So this was another fight. Well, this was the first fight in the UFC fight night that had some controversy behind it. Martin Buday was winning this fight. First and foremost, I want to say that. Martin Buday was clearly winning this fight. Everything went sideways in the very last round when he got too bloodthirsty, I think, and just rained down a straight up elbow to the back of the head, which is severely illegal in UFC. This fight immediately ends, and instead of it being a DQ, I guess with the new rule change, since it was the last round, it goes to it goes to decision. It has to. And Buday still ends up getting the win. I'm sure there's going to be a penalty and pay and some other violations or fines, because that was a bad hit. It was a very rough thing to watch. So I'm sure that there's going to be some kind of consequences, but he does get the win. A lot of controversy in it, though, because in the past, that would be a DQ. So that's the first one that happened in the UFC. Next up, Rafa Garcia versus Jesse Ronson. This one also has a bit of controversy because Rafa hit Jesse with an illegal knee. You see that knee is down. You cannot knee somebody in the head if they're a downed opponent. And technically, if a knee or a hand is down, that is a downed opponent. And he just hits him flush, just bang, right in the face. And I mean, this was the second round that happened. So that led to an immediate point deduction. Like I said, in the past, that's a DQ immediately. Like, you're done. But they kept the fight going. I don't really have a problem with it, but I have questions. You know, I don't know what would be the best thing, because clearly they both still wanted to fight. So the fight continues, but Rafa ends up getting the win in that round by submission. Like, again, the win was clean. Like, the way he won was clean, but that move that he did before was not. So the issue is, should the fight have continued? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know how I feel about it. but it was a solid win for him. It was just that one move, man. Those moves ruin fights because it should not have been like it shouldn't have happened. You know, those kind of mistakes should not have happened. You know the rules. But next up, Drakkar Klose versus Brandon Jenkins. So this one was a clean fight, a clean win for Drakkar. Just dominated Brandon on the feet, just was beating him down. And then in the beginning of the second round, Herb Dean clearly saw enough, and he just comes out and tackles Drakkar. Drakkar gets the win by TKO. Next up, though, Lena Linsberg versus Pannie Kianzad. This one was dope, gotta say. I enjoyed it. It was real bloody, though. You know, they were scrapping. This was a scrap. You should definitely go back and check this fight out. Pannie gets the win by decision. I enjoyed this fight. This one was like real old school kind of vibes to it. You know, it was just an enjoyable one to watch. But next up, we got the last of the prelims, Devin Clark versus William Knight. Now, this one was a shocker to me. Devin knocks out William Knight with a left hook. What a hit. It was a nice one, too. He had him pinned to the cage. They're like, you know, doing a little bit of bully boxing, a little dirty boxing here and there. And all of a sudden, Devin just launches this left hook, stuns William Knight, lands a few more punches. The ref stops it. William Knight is furious that it stopped, but that was the right call, man. Good hit. That was so perfectly executed, perfectly timed punch. Gets him the win. So now we move into the main card. Mounir Lazzez versus Ange Loosa. Mounir won this one hands down. Gotta say, this one was a pretty nice masterclass performance by Mounir. It went to decision, but the entire fight, it was Mounir's to lose. Like he just, like, we all knew what was gonna happen. It just was on the feet, on the ground. Mounir was just dominant in all forms. Mounir Lazzez gets his dub. Next, though, I don't know what was going on with the pictures and why the names keep being like crapped out or whatever, but that's Pat Sabatini versus TJ Laramier. There it is. But Sabatini was also in control of this entire fight. This one was bad, man. Pat was just like demolishing him on the ground the entire fight. I mean, TJ is young. You know, he's super young. He doesn't have as much experience as Pat does, and it showed. Pat just like out-grappled him, out-wrestled him, and I wouldn't say outstruck him, but definitely out-grappled him and out-wrestled him. And that led to the easy decision win for Sabatini. Next, Mayra Bueno Silva versus Wu Yanan. This was my favorite fight of the night. This one was awesome, and it was a banger. I enjoyed this one thoroughly, and I can't even tell you why. You just got to go and watch it, and you'll know why. It's so good. This one was another classic. These women are going at it, man. They're super intense to watch. A whole lot of striking, a little bit of grappling, but a whole lot of striking, and Mayra pulls out the win. Super great fight. I really loved it. I was actually impressed that it went the distance because these girls were taking big hits, especially Nan. Nan was taking big hits. So props to her chin because I thought that she was going to be out. Next, I should have bet on this one. Miguel Baeza versus Andre Fialho. Now, I remember watching Andre's debut, and it was a little lackluster, but he is a boxer, and I think people really forgot about that. And so I thought that the fact that Miguel was the favorite was crazy. I should have bet on it. I really should have bet on it because Andre Fialho knocked this man out. Gets a nasty uppercut in the clinch. Just starts banging him away with these uppercuts until he starts dropping. And then after a few, some ground and pound, a few punches on the ground, the ref has to step in. TKO victory for Fialho. So, yeah, y'all better put some respect on Fialho's name. He is new, but he's a monster in boxing. He was a great boxer, and he's taking his talents to the MMA world. So don't you flinch. They know what to do. Next, though. So here's another controversial fight. Just throwing that out there. Caio Borralho versus Gadzhi Omarjanovic. Dude, what the hell is going on in the UFC this fight? It was ridiculous. Another knee to a downed opponent. Wow, bro. I mean, this was another one where the guy who did it was winning the fight. You know, Kyle was clearly winning this fight. He was in control the entire time. He was out wrestling the Russian, which we barely ever see. Like, he was in control on the ground and was outclassing him on the feet. So this was so unnecessary. But the question is, was this really illegal? I don't think so. I think that the rule that the hand is down is not the same. When the knee is down, it should be illegal. When the hand is down, I think that that's a whole different story. But his hand is down, and the rule is that is a downed opponent. So that made it an illegal move. This also, though, was not a DQ. This went to decision immediately. The fight was stopped, and Kyle got the win. So this is another controversial dub. Back in the day, that would have been a DQ. So I'm kind of glad that there's not as many DQs. But I don't know, man. I have such mixed feelings about it because that's still, that's an illegal move. Maybe change. They're going to have to revise these rules some, man. There's got to be some kind of distinction because I don't really understand why. Like, if you just have your hand down on the mat, I feel like you can get, a knee to the face. But when your knee is down, that's really a downed opponent. I don't think a hand down is a downed opponent. My personal opinion, though. I ain't a judge or nothing. I'm just watching the stuff, so I'm free to say what I want to say. Last fight, though. This was the big one that everybody wanted to see. Vicente Luque versus Belal Muhammad. So Vicente won the last time out, but Belal had a lot to prove on this one. So he comes back and evens the score, settles it. They are now 1-1 after Belal outclassed Vicente Luque almost the entire fight. I had him winning 4 out of 5 rounds. Super great performance. Did what he had to do. The main thing was the takedowns and the ground control. He just was demolishing Vicente on the ground. And I think that's really why he won this fight. He just had a complete game, and Vicente came to scrap. You're in the UFC, buddy. It's more than just punches. So yeah, Belal knew that, and he gets the dub. But that is your UFC fight night. So for that one, my rating is also going to be a 3. And I say a 3 because of all the controversy. I don't really like the controversy. It leaves too many questions. It leaves more questions than it takes away from the fight. Because so much other stuff now is like, what would have happened if he didn't throw the knee? What would have happened if she didn't poke the eyes? When stuff like that happens, it just leads to questions. It loses a person, especially if the person wins. Like, if the person wins that did the dirty move, then it's like, well, if you didn't do that dirty move, would you have still won? And half of these fights, the guy that did the dirty move was winning the fight already. So it's like, why did you have to do the dirty move? So I don't know, man. I don't know. I just did not. I don't like when that stuff happens. Not just because it's like a danger to the fighters, but also now we're gonna have to see it again, or people are gonna want to see it again, or not at all, just because there's now too much controversy in that fight. You leave an asterisk on it. So not feeling that. Not a fan of it. But that's all that I got for you guys tonight, man. Or today. Yeah, it's still daytime. Sorry, man. I got kids and they've been whooping my ass since I finished All Real Crew last night. Spoilers. But, man, if you didn't catch All Real Crew last night, man, that was probably the funniest episode we've ever done. Dude, Death by Dewdrop should definitely trend if you haven't seen it. Dude, that was a phenomenal episode. So if you never watched All Real Crew before, watch our podcast from last night. It was awesome. But as always, guys, like, comment, share, and subscribe to Take It to the Ring. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, all that. I will document my hair dyeing journey on social media too. If you guys want to see it, it will be on that. And yeah, man, we got a whole lot of things that we have planned. So check us out, man. This is gonna be fun, and yeah, enjoy the ride. But until next time, guys, it's your boy Tijon. Keep it real.